David Boji from Perview.org, and we've got the personal mindfulness quotient. It's an assessment that'll tell you how to solve a lot of the problems that we're going to show you in this video. Hope you enjoy the video. Give it a like, give it a share, subscribe. Thank you.
Have you ever sat in a meeting just smiling and nodding along while you're basically screaming on the inside? Yeah? You've been promised this great collaborative session, but what you actually get is a monologue? Well, today we are going to break down exactly why that happens. We're going to unpack the hidden stories that are sabotaging your team and show you how you can be the one to finally bring them into the light. So let's just dive right in with that big question. Why do so many of our meetings at work feel completely, totally fake? You know the ones I'm talking about, where everything feels scripted, the harmony feels forced, and all the real conversations, they happen in whispers after everyone has already left the room. Well, the reason is that you, your team, and maybe even your entire organization are caught in something I like to call the meeting monologue trap. It's this vicious cycle that promises real dialogue, but always, and I mean always, collapses into just one person talking at everyone else with zero real engagement. And you know, this trap isn't just a single event. It's a very predictable failure that unfolds in two distinct acts. So let's break down this two-act tragedy of modern workplace communication. So this collapse, it happens in two phases. First, we start in the echo chamber. That's the stage of fake harmony where leaders say things like, "We're a family here," to try and force unity. But because it's not genuine, it inevitably implodes into the second stage, the voice clash. And this is where it gets messy. It's filled with toxic noise, back-channel gossip, and a whole lot of passive aggression. And here's what's so fascinating to me, this very modern corporate problem was actually captured perfectly almost 200 years ago in literature. A fantastic illustration of this comes from Dostoevsky's novel The Double, which shows this exact psychological breakdown. In the story, the main character, a guy named Golyatkin, meets his exact double, his doppelganger. And what's his first reaction? It's to create an echo chamber. He declares they'll be like brothers, like fish to water. He's forcing this sense of perfect unity and completely ignoring the bizarre, unsettling reality that's staring him right in the face. Sound familiar? This is that fake harmony phase in action. But of course, that harmony can't last. The double, who is really just Gladkin's own hidden critical inner voice, turns on him. And that's when the voice clash begins. The double starts mocking him, calling him a rascal and a burlesque. The voice that was supposed to be a protector has now become a relentless judge, just using parody and ridicule to tear him down. And this is just such a brilliant illustration of the corporate parallel, right? The brothers forever sentiment is the exact same thing as that empty town hall slogan, "We're a family." And the double's vicious insults, that's the same energy as the cynical back-channel gossip and the layoff rumors that completely destroy trust. The dynamic is literally identical. So the big question is, why does this keep happening? To understand that, we really need to look at the unspoken shadow story that's running beneath the surface of all these official conversations. There are some really powerful concepts that explain what's really going on. Okay, the key idea here comes from a literary theorist named Mikhail Bakhtin, and it's called double-voiced discourse. It's this concept that a single statement can hold two completely different, often contradictory, meanings at the exact same time. One meaning is the one spoken out loud, and the other one, well, got one, is hidden in the shadows. I mean, just think about that classic corporate phrase, "We're a family here." On the surface, it sounds so supportive, so nice, but it's a perfect example of double-voiced discourse because of the hidden message that's lurking just beneath the surface. See, the official message is, "We care about you," but the shadow message, the one that everyone hears but nobody says out loud, is, "You can't say no to extra work, and your loyalty to this family has to be absolute." It's one statement with two totally clashing stories. And this is where cynicism is born. And this is where it gets really, really cool. Dr. David Boji uses a concept from quantum physics to describe this state. He calls it quantum superposition. It's the idea that both the official story and that shadow story exist at the same time in this kind of blurred reality, until a leader or some event forces everyone to actually acknowledge them both. Think of it this way. The official story, that's the mission statement hanging on the wall. The shadow story, that's all the cynical jokes flying around in the private team chat. They both exist at once. The observation that collapses the state and makes it real is when a brave leader finally acknowledges both narratives, saying something like, "Look, I know our mission statement says X, but I also hear the frustration that we're not living up to it." Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem and we've unpacked the theory behind it. But how do we actually fix our meetings? Well, the good news is there's a clear three-step process for leaders to escape the monologue trap and start building true, authentic dialogue. So here's the playbook for breaking the cycle. First, you have to map the superposition. That means being the leader who openly acknowledges that both the official story and the shadow story are real, and they're both valid. Next, you need to spot double voice discourse. Pay really close attention to irony and sarcasm. When someone's tone just doesn't match their words, that's the shadow story leaking out. And finally, build true dialogue. This means you stop trying to solve people like they're problems to be fixed, and you start treating them as evolving voices with really valuable perspectives. You know, when you put all these pieces together, you're not just learning some interesting theories from a book. You are developing a genuine leadership superpower that will fundamentally change how you see and interact with your team. This isn't just academic theory. It's a practical tool. It's a whole new lens. And once you learn to see the shadow stories, the superposition, and the double-voiced messages, you can't unsee them. You'll start understanding the real dynamics at play in every single interaction you have. So let's just recap the big takeaways here. First, develop what we can call superposition literacy. Get comfortable knowing that multiple, often competing stories are true at the same time. Don't try to force one single narrative on everyone. Second, learn to read the signals. Irony and sarcasm are your early warning systems for growing cynicism. Pay attention to them and address them. And third, end objectification. Create a culture where it is safe for many voices to be heard, because that is what builds a truly resilient organization. And so, we're going to end with a challenge for you. As you walk into your very next meeting, ask yourself this one simple question. What is the unspoken shadow story in this room? Listen for it, look for it, and you'll have just taken the first real step out of the
If you enjoy the video, give it a like, give it a share, subscribe. Thank you.